Justice Department has charged Microsoft.
Intuit is best in the tax show. It's crushing H&R Block.
Hefty fines and prison time. That's what'll happen if you don't have your books in order. You need someone to prevent all the inaccuracies, outdated reports, and unverifiable data that ultimately makes your back office a living hell. At the beginning of 2020, the accounting software market as a whole was valued at $11.9 billion, and it's projected to reach over $70 billion by 2030. Several companies are jostling for the ultimate crown, like Xero, Sage, and Zoho. But one company has been in the game longer than most.
Intuit.
I love those guys.
Today, Intuit has a vast SaaS product line from TurboTax to Mint to their recent acquisition of MailChimp in 2021. But not too long ago, they endured a decades-long battle with Microsoft in an effort to win the top spot in bookkeeping. At one point, the war seemed to be over before it could truly begin. But something happened that forced Intuit to fend off Microsoft in any way that they could. The result of which gives folks running their own SaaS company many examples to learn from. We'll get into all of that soon, but first, some background. I'm Ben Hillman, and this is Verticals. Accounting dates back thousands of years and has been used in many parts of the world, from Mesopotamian civilizations to Italian accounting pioneer Luca Pacioli in 1494. But accounting as we know it today started sometime in the last century. In 1983, Scott Cook went to Stanford University and placed an advertisement for a programmer position. While there, he bumped into Tom Proul. Proul agreed to write a simple check balancing program for Cook, which ended up becoming the Quicken program. He and Scott used this to launch Intuit. After a few difficult years of trying to popularize the product, Quicken's Apple version finally started to get positive attention. Consequently, sales spiked. By the late 1980s, Quicken had become one of the best-selling personal accounting software solutions around. Suddenly, Intuit had a little problem securing financing, courting several VCs. In 1993, Intuit went public. By this time, Microsoft had launched their own product to compete with Quicken, releasing Microsoft Money in 1991. But realizing that Intuit was in the lead, by far, Microsoft made an offer that they couldn't refuse. In October of 1994, Microsoft offered to purchase Intuit in a stock swap for $1.5 billion. At the time, it was Microsoft's largest acquisition ever. Speaking of the acquisition, Bill Gates said, "Intuit is a phenomenal company, and it is a unique situation where the sum is greater than the parts. Certainly managing finances in the broadest sense is one of the major opportunities that the electronic world will present, and Microsoft wants to be there, and this victory would be short-lived." The US Department of Justice sued to block the deal, citing that it would effectively give Microsoft a monopoly of the personal finance market. In their research, the Justice Department found that Intuit's Quicken commanded 69% of the market, while Microsoft Money had 22%. Ultimately, Microsoft decided to pull out of the deal. During negotiations, Bill Gates reportedly told Scott Cook that if Scott fought the merger, he would use the sum that would have gone towards the acquisition towards battling Intuit. And the battle had just begun. Microsoft went all out to try and dethrone Intuit. The company added a ton of partners, revamped the product's design, and tried to integrate a host of new financial planning tools. An advantage that Intuit had was its QuickBooks software, intended to offer small business owners the same flexibility, structure, and compliance as Quicken did for individuals.
From the makers of Quicken, so you know it's easy to use.
And in 2000, the software was improved to include audit trials, double entries, and other industry-level compliant items.
It integrates with Microsoft Word and Excel.
That same year, Wall Street Journal reviewer Walt Mossberg gave Microsoft Money the edge over Quicken. However, even with this positive review, Money never truly managed to overtake Intuit. Microsoft tried one last time in 2005 to outmaneuver Intuit. They launched small business accounting to rival QuickBooks. But like all the previous episodes, the move backfired badly. Intuit VP Dan Levin said, "They've come up against Intuit 6 times in the past, and each time they've retreated with a bloody nose. It seems as if the battle had just ended." In 2009, Microsoft announced that Microsoft Money would no longer be available for purchase. Competition had been fierce, but ultimately Intuit won out. It was somewhat surprising that Intuit succeeded, especially considering many computer makers preloaded Microsoft Money on new PCs. So what were the key differences that made Intuit soar and Microsoft plunge? The main reason that Intuit knocked out Microsoft Money is because they've always continued to get closer and closer to the customer, including going above and beyond to correct errors. In 1987, for instance, Intuit got complaints from Quicken customers who were only getting the message "Get Cash" on the screen when trying to record a transaction. This was back when Intuit was strictly an on-prem solution. 20,000 copies had already been sold, so Intuit staff created 20,000 bug-free disks and mailed one to every single customer for free. As a result, customer satisfaction increased. Additionally, Intuit has made it its mission to pursue strategic acquisitions that play to this overarching goal. Acquiring platforms like Credit Karma, Mint, and MailChimp are aimed at solving pain points tangentially related to Intuit's core accounting offering. Credit Karma allows the company to give folks their credit score on demand, which makes the product sticky. Mint is an automatic tracker of finances, which plugs right into Intuit's tax software. MailChimp is a fantastic tool that helps businesses send better emails. For more on MailChimp, you can check out our previous episode about how MailChimp gets your email past the spam filter. In 2011, further expanding on its well-rounded solution offering, the company also launched a platform called Intuit Anywhere, which allowed customers to try out different integrations within the QuickBooks Online ecosystem. Ultimately, this turned into the integrations that Intuit offers today, with options like Shopify, Gusto, and even Etsy. Integrations are important. In a study, we found that customers with more integrations within their product appear to be willing to pay between 10 and 30% more than those without integrations. Another factor that helps Intuit stay fresh is they hold on to the startup mindset. At one point, they called themselves the 30-year-old startup. They emphasize experimentation, including encouraging engineers to use unstructured time to spend on projects of their own choosing. According to then CTO Tayloe Stansbury in 2013, about 300 of those projects turned into products or features of existing products. It's simple. By encouraging innovation, Intuit is gaining innovation. But perhaps the greatest reason Microsoft lost to Intuit is because of their efforts in marketing. Robbie Cape ran Microsoft Money from 1999 to 2001. He said, "It really has little to do with technology. What Intuit and Scott Cook were so formidable at was consumer marketing." He treated marketing Intuit very much the same way as one would treat marketing a bar of soap or a bottle of shampoo. He made Quicken a household name.
If you can use a checkbook, you can use Quicken.
Today, Intuit is comfortably one of the most valuable SaaS companies out there, with a market cap of over $100 billion. But Intuit shouldn't get too comfortable. There are still issues they must address within their own products. Though QuickBooks is notable in the United States, the same can't be said for the rest of the world. They have to watch out for folks like Xero in New Zealand, Zoho in India, and Sage in the UK. And while these companies have footings in their own countries, they are making waves abroad as well. Additionally, the same marketing that turned Quicken into a household name got Intuit into some hot water in May of 2022. Their free ad campaign for TurboTax was found to be using deceptive tactics to drive low-income tax filers toward their services. This was instead of the free federally supported services, which this group qualified for. Intuit paid out $141 million settlement just for this ad campaign. Ultimately, a SaaS company that wishes to topple Intuit has to go a few extra miles beyond the incumbent. What company do you think that will be? Xero? Sage? Maybe a newbie? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. From Paddle, I'm Ben Hillman, and I'm not going to cross Intuit.